Hello and welcome to another update video about Gala. Well, that worked out nicely. We have followed the expectation here of another fifth wave to the upside, and we even reached our target range that was calculated for this fifth wave here. Just need to double check how we actually calculated that. I think, yeah, we took the length of the third wave, went to the low of the fourth, and then we get this target range between the 38.2 and the 61.8 FIB extension, while the 61.8 FIB extension is still the more likely one. But let's just take a look at the count. In the previous video we discussed different options. One option was here this to be an ending diagonal. However, in an ending diagonal, the wave 5 shouldn't have been longer ideally than the third wave, and this should have stopped in a diagonal pattern at 6.06 cents. Now we broke a bit higher, not massively, which can happen in a volatile market, but then I'd rather go with a different pattern, like 3.5% higher. Not too much for crypto. Still though, I think we can now look at maybe different options. So let's just look, let's just watch, which is great. You know, we anybody who looked at this support area recently and then maybe entered here when we talked about that target, then you are obviously in, you know, you have the possibility to move up your stop loss and at least take the risk out. Yeah, because the idea here was that as long as we're holding above 4.6 cents, so that would have been the stop loss level, that we can put this fifth wave in place. Now, at the moment, I can only see 3 waves up in the fifth wave. Could very well be that we have a diagonal, but in a different form. And I'm going to show you that now. So it could very well be that this fourth wave never finished here, but actually here. And that would allow us for an extension. Why is that? Because we could say that this was just a running flat pattern. We currently see this possibility on a lot of crypto charts. So that we had here an ABC. This was actually a wave 4. Let me think. Yeah, this was actually a wave 4. And we're now moving up in this diagonal pattern. And that means the wave 5 still has a way to go. Then we could say, yes, we had here a wave 1. We had here a wave 2. And this here was possibly already the third wave. We would now come down in a fourth and then move up in a fifth. That's certainly a possibility, and it might just move into some kind of a different pattern, maybe even a broadening wedge. We're going to observe that certainly very, very closely. In that scenario, we can still allow the price to push a little higher. So let me just adjust that. We certainly have a nice, yeah, you know, we actually have 3 touch points here as well. So that's an interesting one. These patterns are rare, ascending broadening wedges, but the point is, as long as we stay now above the 4.6 cent level, or let's call it this swing low here of 4.75, we should be able to get that fifth wave. So first of all, we need to see if we come down in a fourth wave now. That could come all the way down to the channel support. Doesn't need to. I think we can use fib levels as well to measure the retracements. And then we've got the area. I would start watching at the 50% fib level, you know, at 5.44 cents. That would certainly be relevant. I mean, normally you say the wave 4, ideally the 38.2 fib level, but if we are in a diagonal, you would normally expect a bit more of a setback. But start watching maybe from the 38.2 fib level at 5.6 cents. But ideally a bit lower, I think. And ideally we're going to hit here the channel support. Now also that is not going to happen in one straight line, because what this would be, you would most likely see here something like that. A wave, B wave, C wave. And then the A wave should react ideally to, yeah, the 38.2 or the 50% fib. So 5.6 cents to 5.45. That would be ideally some kind of a reaction here of this fourth wave. Sorry, of the A wave here. Then we could move up in a B wave and come down in C. And that could then, depending on where the wave A finishes, we can then calculate the wave C. But typically in such a diagonal pattern, you would see the support level. Now, saying that, if we make a very shallow wave 4, we could still push higher earlier than anticipated and, you know, go a bit higher. And you would then expect to reach a target that would be, well, the wave 5 should be longer than the third wave, but it depends on how low we actually go then, right? Depends on how low we eventually go. If we come down to 5.2 cents, the 61.8 retracement, you would expect a target of around 6.8 cents. Let's just double check what again was the target for the fifth wave here. If we add it to that wave 4 low, then the new target would be the ideal target. Let's just check that. So 1 second, just wave 3 high. So we take the length of the third, go to the low of the fourth, okay. And then we look at here, possibly the 6.3 cent level. Oh, we reached that already. Okay, let's see how we can follow this diagonal. I mean, certainly as long as we are in this diagonal pattern, we can't really say with confidence that this wave 2 has already started. We are certainly still in a moderate uptrend, even though you can see that the bulls are losing steam and there are more headwinds by the bears. A lot of bears selling into the rally, and that is when these patterns emerge. So for me, I think it's like, we need to be watching this trend line, going below that, and then also losing here the 4.6 cent level. That would imply that this high was already in, the top was already in. Maybe this was already the diagonal, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's possible. I cannot rule that out, yeah. So from that point of view, it's like in terms of maybe another trade setup to trade this fifth wave. For me personally, I don't think there is an attractive trade setup until we hit the channel support. Which means if we hit the channel support, then it might be worth just to try to trade the fifth wave with the stop loss below the trend line. If we lose that trend line, we're most likely already in the wave 2 and would have to assume the wave 1 top was already in. And this would become the next interesting entry point. And as soon as we have a reliable top in place, I will make you aware. But this certainly has enough waves to be finished. If I consider all of that here as an ending expanding diagonal, ideally I would like to see one more wave up, but it doesn't need to. But ideally I'd be looking for one more wave up, and there would be another entry point possibly in this range. We'll be able to calculate that when we get the A wave and the B wave, where we ideally get to. And however, if we lose the trend line, then I think we come down in this wave 2 support area. And if I was to measure that already now, based on the latest high, it would sit between 3.92 cents and 2.55 cents. Okay, that's my update about Gala. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.